Hello and welcome to Brand X Reviews. Today I'm going to be talking about the new Bond trailer for No Time to Die, which is coming out in April 2020. Oh no, it's not. Sorry, I messed up. It's been delayed quite a few times. Um, Obviously, we're aware by now the situation that's been going on, why this was delayed. It's a no-brainer. There's no point me covering that. It's everybody knows. But for context, I think it's kind of difficult me doing this video talking about the new trailer simply because there's not really much we haven't already seen before, so it's difficult for me to do like a kind of reaction to it. It's difficult for them to even put out a trailer. I realise the wheels of the promotional campaign have to kind of start turning again, and this is getting repetitive to the point of ridiculousness now. But somebody made a good point I noticed in the comment section on the YouTube video for the official channel that released the trailer today. Um, when we get the Blu-ray of this and you've got all the extra features and you've got the trailers listed, is there going to be enough space on the disc for all these various trailers that we've had, because there's so many of them? It's kind of difficult, really, to, like I say, to do a video talking about the trailer when uh, we've seen many ones before, and this one might have some little bits of new footage here and there, but overall, what is there to say? So I'm just going to really talk about the context behind this trailer and obviously why it's prompted me to do this video, because I've not really done that many videos this year. I'm massively disheartened just in general with new movies, not just because of what's been happening with cinemas being shut down and so on, but just the quality of movies has definitely slipped over the last few years. We were even talking about this in 2019. Obviously, they're putting a lot of political agendas in there, social engineering, insertion of intersectional identity politics, woke, far left ideologies, postmodernism, all that kind of stuff. I could go on all day. I won't go down that rabbit hole just yet. But stuff like that is really what's kind of been disheartening me and many others with regards to new movie projects. But I felt compelled to do this video because with Bond and this movie, there's a sense of completion that we've not had with this yet. From a personal point of view, when all this thing first started, everything was getting shut down and cancelled. The first thing to me to really go was the Bond film. I'm not saying that that was like the most significant thing up till that point. It was the first thing really that I noticed when things started getting shut down, that it started in any way affecting me. I mean, this is in a very minimal way. It's a movie, for God's sake. I don't, in the grand scheme of things, who cares? But this was the first, anyway, like I say. And the first kind of minor inconvenience, because I'd booked the tickets for this movie the day before the announcement to delay it. So I think to actually get this movie finally released, just to see it get released, there's a sense of completion there. So obviously this trailer, now that they've released a month prior to the movie coming out, has really kind of got me thinking it'll just be nice to see it come out. Whether I see it in a cinema or not, it'll just be nice to see that it's out. I had a similar experience, again, disheartened with movies and so on. I didn't particularly want to go and support the last Fast and Furious movie. I think it was like the ninth movie, the new one that came out anyway with John Cena. I didn't want to support that, especially after the John Cena hostage video. But it was my birthday earlier this year, and a friend of mine wanted to go see the movie as well. So I went to see that, and it was just nice to see that movie come out, because that was another one of the early ones to get delayed. They didn't do that in sort of short increments either. They actually delayed it for quite a long period. That first delay was like over a year, and that's eventually did come to pass with Bond. They just kept doing it 6 months at a time, 6 months at a time, 6 months at a time. Here we are 18 months later. It'd be great to see the movie actually get released. So, what do I think in terms of? Because I mean, we've been here before. I think the movie's going to come out, and it doesn't. I've done those videos, hence I'm doing this one. What do I think in terms of the probability of it actually getting released? Are they going to delay it again? I don't think they will. I think if they have to pull the thing, I think they'll just go for streaming. A number of reasons I think that. I think there's issues with a lot of people that have invested in this. They need to see returns on their investment, I guess. Just some things I've heard. I'm not an insider, but that just makes sense. That's what I've heard. So I imagine if there's anything else, any other issues, they're just going to say, right, well, it's now available on Amazon or whatever, Amazon Prime or Netflix or whatever deal they work out. So, yeah, in terms of what do I think about the movie, I mean, nothing has changed. Just go back and watch my earlier videos, basically. I think with me, I've been just so curious. I mean, I'm a massive Bond fan, so I just want to know, is the film good? But obviously, a lot of rumours about, as I was saying before, this woke ideology. I don't usually use the word woke, but you know what I mean. To me, the definition of that is the sacralization of historically oppressed minorities. So whatever that would be. If they're inserting that into this, it'd be disappointing as hell because it's unjustified, and obviously there's an agenda to it as well, which is political, and it's not necessarily the kind of politics that you'd elect in the ballot box. This is an ideology that they're using to subvert and well, basically threaten people with. Even if you don't go along with it, you're a bad person. You could lose your job if you speak out against it. You're racist, you're homophobe, you're transphobe, all that stuff. It ties in with that. The reason I'm going there with this video, if they've gone down that route, just like DC, Warner Brothers have, just like Marvel Studios have, and Disney, and all these other studios as well, these franchises. Terminator did it, X-Men did it, Men in Black had it to a certain degree, obviously the Ghostbusters remake. We just don't want to see that standard slip with Bond, but with all the available information that I can see at the moment, it does look like that might actually be the case as well. Obviously, they got Phoebe Waller-Bridge co-writing the script for this, or doing rewrites or whatever, with a feminist, third wave, intersectional feminist slant on things, which has always been in the crosshairs. Well, Bond has always been in the crosshairs, sorry, of that group, and now they've kind of risen to power to a certain degree, and they've managed to get their claws into this. We might just see a very emasculated Bond character. I'm not saying he's going to be portrayed as a soy boy or anything like that, but I think that there is that concern that we're going to see this pedestalization of women just because they are women. The Mary Sue factor that we got in Star Wars with the Rey character, who I was quite interested in seeing the character development of that, but it just went nowhere. It was just basically she's a woman, therefore she is the powerful one. We don't want to see that in this Bond film. It's just, you know, that could really be the last stand for Hollywood, really, if this franchise falls, because I don't know that many other franchises that are still going anyway that haven't fallen on the altar of postmodernist, neo-Marxist, woke, far-left ideologies and politics. So, fingers crossed, anyway. So, not to throw all that into a Bond trailer review, but it's basically there. It's something that could very well play out into the movie. So in terms of how concerned am I usually would go see a movie the night of release, a Bond movie on the night of release. With this one, I think I'm going to wait until I hear some very specific reviews that this film isn't just going to be annoying and just completely destroy your vision of the character by taking it in a direction that is just completely anathema to Bond, but also, well, everything else as well. So I think I'm just going to wait and see, because I've done this with other franchises as well. I've drawn the line and said, right, as far as I'm concerned, this film franchise ends with this one. Those other ones, I ignore them. I don't mean from a point of view, and obviously I was talking before about woke stuff. I don't mean from that point of view. I've done it with many other film franchises as well. You know, it might be the horror films. Like, for some reason, I'm thinking of Poltergeist. There's the first two films, which are great, and then there's the third one, which is just a bit ropey and kind of undoes a lot of the stuff of the first two. So the way I see it, you got Poltergeist 1 and 2. 3 is maybe like an Elseworld film, so it's optional, but you don't have to kind of think, when you think of that story, that that's where it ended. It ends with 2, you know. So I could very well do this with Bond. The only other thing I can think as well before I tie this up, I don't know what the situation is in the UK, but obviously there's a lot of draconian Big Brother stuff that's going on. I don't want to get into that, obviously, because that's just a massive. I mean, I've already kind of gone on a bit of a tangent talking about woke stuff, but talking about other things as well with lockdowns and so on. Obviously, Australia is in the grip of going back to being a prison island again, basically. I'm not laughing at them, by the way. I'm laughing at the ridiculousness of it. A lot of that is on a global scale to different degrees as well. I live in the UK. There's been talks of vaccine passports. Again, I'm not advocating for or against vaccines. I'm not giving any indication as to whether I do or don't have one or will be getting one or whatever. But in terms of the actual papers, please side of things, I am very comfortable in saying I am not going to be cooperating in that in the slightest, to any degree. So regardless of what I have to lose in my life because of my refusal to go along with that, so be it. Bond is no exception to that. Hopefully that's not going to be in place at the very least when the movie comes out, because it will be nice to have the actual option to go see the movie. But if it's basically a case of you're not allowed to go into cinemas now unless you've presented your papers, well, I just won't be doing it, and I'm quite comfortable with that. I kind of made my peace with the fact that I probably won't get to see this film in the cinema for a number of reasons, basically. I didn't even know if it was going to get a cinema release. I just kind of thought it was a given that at some point it's going to be a home video release. But we'll see anyway. Like I say, if the option's there, it would be nice to have it so that I can reassess things, but I don't know if I'm going to be going to the cinema to see this. So, what do you think anyway? Obviously, have you had any kind of similar considerations? Obviously, your priorities could be very different to mine. That's great. Like I say, I'm not condemning anyone who feels differently. It's great that you've got the option to act upon your own thoughts and feelings. Well, in concept it is. I might not have a choice, funnily enough. Hence the slight chip on my shoulder, maybe, that you're possibly sensing in this video. But that's a subject for another day anyway. But yeah, like I say, let me know what do you think. Any information that you've got that this film might be going in a undesirable angle. Not necessarily, like I say, the work thing, but just anything else about this that you maybe don't like the look of, or anything that maybe reassures you. Like I say, I'm optimistically cautious. I'm hoping that if there is anything like that to do with social engineering, I'm hoping that at best it's just there's a slight hint of it. I can put up with that. It's just if the whole movie is a propaganda piece in that sense, that's no good. A lot of people complained about the end of Avengers Endgame, the bit where the really ridiculous. I mean, it's a ridiculous concept anyway, but the bit where all the female characters line up on the battlefield. Everybody comes to me and says, "That bit, you know which bit I'm talking about." I know, yes, I do know which bit you're talking about. That didn't ruin the movie for me. It's one scene, the way I see it. It's a bit of fan service for the ladies out there. I understand there is a bigger context, should I say, with regards to there's a lot of feminist ideology in Marvel and Disney as well. But I think at the same time there are different ways of looking at scenes like that. And at the end of the day, if it's just like one or two scenes in an otherwise great, clean movie, I can forgive that. So if they do that with Bond, if it's just like there's a few little scenes here and there that kind of tie in with some of this ideological stuff, I can forgive that. I wouldn't boycott a movie just because of that. But if it's just from start to finish, kind of like the Ghostbusters 2016 remake, which was a terrible film as well in a lot of ways, if it's just a thick propaganda piece, then count me out. Anyway, I'll leave it there because I feel like I've rambled on quite a bit. But like I said, I felt a need to do this video just because I've been covering this thing up till the beginning of last year, and then sort of through last year as well as the dates that it was then going to be released at were approaching, and then we saw delays again. I think it's only right for me to do this video here, even though I'm not really doing much with the channel nowadays. And I realise there'll only be like 10 views on here, but to all you guys out there that have been following since then, this one's for you. What is 15 minutes out of my day just to check in with you guys and say, this is my stance on things. These are things I'm concerned about. These are things I'm optimistic about. These are my priorities. These are things that I think that might be important, whether I get to see this film or not. So there you go. Brandix Reviews. You can't follow us. Well, you can. Not much point in those. I was going to say not much point in following us on social media because I pretty much sacked it off. Big tech can do that. I realise I'm uploading this video onto YouTube, but like I'm justified. I have made an exception here already, if that wasn't already clear. But yeah, there is a Facebook page for Brandix Reviews. I don't upload on that anymore. There is also an Instagram one. Again, I don't upload on that one anymore. I've jacked it in for social media pretty much. So if you do want to follow us, well, you can't basically. I'm working on a website called the Gramophone Mind. There's sometimes a bit of information on there about what I was talking about, woke ideology in entertainment. So if that's of interest to you, usually every day or two there's a story that I post on there, thegramophonemmind.com. You can check that out, but it's not directly related to Brandix reviews, so it's a bit of a tenuous link there when I throw that out there. But that's what I'm working on anyway, so I'll leave it there and say thank you very much for watching. I hope this movie comes out. I hope you all get to enjoy it, even if for whatever reason, it's not up my street. I just hope that it means as much to you as it, in principle, means to me. And I hope you get something out of it. On a positive note, I didn't want to be negative. So that's all I got to say. Thank you very much for watching. So there you go, you heard it there. Brand X Reviews Halloween special is coming 2021. The core hasn't even been seen on this channel since last Halloween. I myself have done barely any videos, so a lot of people have been asking, is it going to be a thing? It is. Late October 2021, Brand X Reviews 9th annual Halloween special.